Our MC Taniguchi Okuma heads to school by monorail where he looks forward to reuniting with his crush, Anna Nishikanamiya. After trying to defuse a tense situation, he finds himself about to be arrested by the decency squad when the infamous perverted terrorist Blue Snow appears, allowing Taniguchi escapes in the confusion. Later at school, Taniguchi's troubles continue as a classmate demands he answer how babies are made. The student council then brings him in to ask that he hunt down Blue Snow. Later that day, he heads to a quiet cafe with Vice President Ayame Kaju, who reveals she is actually Blue Snow. After being threatened into joining her crusade, Taniguchi helps her execute a plan at school during a student assembly, first spreading more perverted leaflets around the packed gym and then tricking the teachers into running outside while Ayame plays a video of two flies mating while she adds her own sound effects. Meanwhile, Taniguchi disguises himself as Blue Snow and starts drawing a giant asterisk sign on the track with a line painting machine. The entire school, including Taniguchi, finds themselves having trouble dealing with the weird new feelings brought on by this act. While the school is recovering from Blue Snow's latest activity, Taniguchi recalls his own past and his connection to Anna, gaining the trust of the student council. Ayame then tasks him with copying and spreading increasingly rare paper inserts with suggestive pornographic material across the school. Anna even hangs one such picture in the student council room, unaware of the double meaning behind it until Taniguchi points it out. Taniguchi crushes on Anna again, but Ayame quietly warns him not to pursue her, as she can be frightening when angry, and that Anna's parents were responsible for the current and potential future morals laws that have a stranglehold on Japan. Later, Ayame decides to hatch another plot at school during physical exams for the freshman students. Ayame distracts Anna and Goriki while Taniguchi disguises himself as Blue Snow and attempts to teach some students dirty words by sight. However, Anna catches the disguised Taniguchi, cornering him until Ayame appears as the real Blue Snow with the captured urine samples of the freshman boys. As Anna and Goriki race after her, Taniguchi takes off his Blue Snow disguise, unaware that an artistic student spotted him from a nearby roof. During an award ceremony, Otome Sadame dramatically rips up her certificate on stage and claims she is in a slump. Later, Otome drags Taniguchi out of class and threatens to reveal his connection to Blue Snow unless he helps her resolve a romantic issue. Meanwhile, Anna finds herself dealing with a mysterious stalker. After taking Otome out to dinner, Taniguchi finds out that she is also in love with Anna. However, when she threatens to turn him in, Taniguchi claims to be in love with Ayame instead. The next day, Ayame thinks that Otome could be the stalker. At the student council meeting, Ayame schemes to draw the stalker out of hiding by posing as Anna's boyfriend. As the plan is launched at a public park, Otome reveals how Anna is her sole reason for painting. Suddenly, multiple stalkers appear and attack the disguised Ayame. Taniguchi leaps out of cover and defends the girls, but one of the thugs manages to briefly knock him out as he inadvertently kisses Anna. Taniguchi tries to excuse himself but falls unconscious as Anna tries to deal with new, unresolved feelings from the kiss. After spending time in the hospital, Ayame tells Taniguchi that she has persuaded Otome to join SOCS in hopes of making more risque artwork. Taniguchi soon returns to school, but Ayame is strangely absent and Anna keeps avoiding him. Later, Ayame talks about her latest plan to reclaim a hidden stash of old pornographic material located on private property in Yotsuga Forest. She can't do it alone, so instead she plans to lure the students from school out to the forest during the weekend. However, her plans are sidelined when Taniguchi is targeted by a stalker and Anna's mother, Sophia, shows up to the school in person to get the students to support her new legislation. Running low on options, Ayame decides to have Taniguchi confront his stalker. However, the stalker turns out to be Anna, who restrains and attempts to rape Taniguchi. After Ayame accidentally interrupts them, Anna flees. Later that night, Hyoka confronts Anna in the lobby of her apartment, asking why her science lab was sterilized without asking. Anna responds that it was done out of love, as the more impure influences she eliminates, the more she will be rewarded with love. Ayame tasks Taniguchi with distributing Otome's new pornographic artwork to the students along with a map to Yotsuga Forest. However, Taniguchi finds himself targeted by an increasingly obsessive Anna, who tries to make him drink her love nectar. While escaping from Anna, he accidentally drops his bag filled with illegal material in Hyoka's lab. On Sunday, the day of the ex-prohibition law signature drive, Sophia plans to greet the students of her daughter's academy in person and Ayame plans to quixotically storm the forest against a large force of the decency squad. Surprisingly, the students all show up at the forest, as Hyoka picked up Taniguchi's material and quietly spread copies around school herself. Just then, Anna shows up in person, chasing down a disguised Ayame. Ayame tosses Tanikachi down into the forest, where he finds the porn stash in a suggestively shaped cave. However, when he hears Ayame being strangled by Anna, he decides to save her. Anna can't understand why the new terrorist gives her similar feelings to Tanikachi. Later that night, Sophia holds a press conference announcing the success of the petition drive, but discovers too late that someone replaced her signed petitions with pornographic artwork. As Otome's hentai drawings spread around the school, Ayame decides to take the next step and make masturbation aids. Tanikachi is assigned the task of getting Hyoka to develop small vibrators, but upon coming to collect one, a mostly naked Hyoka attempts to learn about his cucumber as payment for her services. While they argue, Anna stops by and starts growing jealous, so Tanikachi quickly hands her a finished vibrating egg without telling her its true purpose to calm her down. The next day, Tanikachi accidentally activates the vibrator with the wireless remote Hyoka gave him, reawakening Anna's lust. Tanikachi tries desperately to escape or find a way to turn off the vibrator, but none of his friends want to help him, and Anna finally traps him inside the student council room after Goriki finds and brings him to her. Tanikachi discovers that Anna turned the vibrator into a pendant, but is unable to reach it while being pinned down under her. Eventually, the vibrator shorts out as Anna climaxes and Tanikachi manages to escape. Later, Anna overhears Otome make a dirty remark about Tanikachi and starts strangling him while Ayame refuses to help. Sox forms alliances with other erotic terrorist groups throughout Japan. Back at school, the student council discovers that someone has been stealing underwear throughout the city. Tanikachi and Ayame watch a girls' changing room to catch a thief, but when Ayame runs off, Anna appears to sexually assault Tanikachi again. Shortly after that, Tanikachi reunites with Ayame only to find her speaking with Hyoka, and confiscates her yaoi book with characters loosely based on himself and Goriki. Soon, Goriki manages to round up multiple underwear thieves around school, when a mysterious terrorist calling himself White Peak of the group Gathered Fabric broadcasts his message across school. Back at the cafe, Ayame declares that Sox must take down White Peak. Later that same night, Tanikachi helps a little girl escape the decency squad with the help of Hyoka. The girl then tries to attack Tanikachi until he reveals that he's a member of Sox. The girl reveals herself to be Kasuri Onigashira. Ayame is reluctant to trust her, as Kasuri is daughter of Keisuke, another Uro terrorist who made deals with the moral authorities. However, she decides to let Kasuri become a member of Sox. Tanikachi wakes up to find Kasuri sleeping next to him and Anna, who had been standing there for hours. He quickly decides to pretend Kasuri is his little sister. Later at school, Anna's father has sent Oboro Tsukumigusa to become the school's prefect. However, unlike the moral authorities, Oboro starts by removing mundane items. She also tries to confiscate Hyoka's yaoi manga until Hyoka convinces her that it has useful value. Meanwhile, Ayame plans to have Sox distribute Otome's drawings at other schools. Kasuri decides to take charge of the operation herself. Later, Kasuri returns to report her mission was completely successful, and fueled by her new success, treats Tanikachi like a slave. While Tanikachi detests her methods, he cannot bring himself to sell Kasuri out to Ayame. The next day, Ayame privately tells Tanikachi that Sox's actions suffered blowback with the sudden appearance of Oboro and her comrades. On top of dealing with the threats of the moral authorities and the Gathered Fabric faction, Sox must also find a way to sabotage the prefect system before the government exports it to other schools. Ayame launches an operation at school to try and sabotage both the school's prefect program and Gathered Fabric at the same time. First, she uses her blue snow persona to spread more lewd drawing materials throughout school while Tanikachi will hang his used boxers to try and attract Gathered Fabric. However, Anna and Oboro come through the door instead. Anna again assaults Tanikachi. Meanwhile, Kasuri gets jealous that she is left out of the action. When Ayame launches the same plan again, Tanikachi manages to knock out several Gathered Fabric members. Later, Tanikachi subdues and steps on the crotch of someone who stumbled into the room. However, he discovers that person is Oboro, and that she actually has a penis. Oboro explains that he has been trained to serve Anna and her father faithfully. Suddenly, the fire alarm is pulled and the school evacuates. Back at Sox's hideout, Kasuri takes responsibility for the act, but Ayame scolds her for sabotaging the plan. As Sox tries to think of their next move, they receive a message written on a pair of panties to meet at a nearby park, where White Peak himself appears as Sox makes negotiations with White Peak. Ayame chastises him for using erotic terrorism as a front for the panty thefts. The next morning, Tanikachi rushes to school on a bus. While talking to Ayame, however, Tanikachi and Goriki's bus is hijacked. Among the jack buses, Hyuka, Anna, Oboro, and Otome are in separate buses. During his bus jacking, White Peak also hijacks the PM system and proclaims war in his organization's affiliation with SOX. As Hyuka is interrupted watching the news, she identifies the jacker's gun as a fake. Meanwhile, in Anna and Oboro's bus, Anna single-handedly beats the jacker down. On Tanakichi and Goriki's bus, as Goriki is about to give up his undergarments, he causes everybody to vomit in the bus. As Tanakichi escapes, Ayame finds a leak in White Peak's true identity. To apprehend White Peak, Ayame has Kasuri lure out his bus. Despite Tanakichi using musk panties, he is overpowered by White Peak. After Ayame intervenes, Tanakichi attempts to restrain him. Before SOX successfully captures him, however, Ayame gets kicked out of the bus by Kasuri, revealing she has joined Gathered Fabric. As Kasuri points her stun gun at Tanakichi, he has no choice but to flee the bus. After Kasuri helps out White Peak, they proceed to take the hostages to Zoshigeoka Academy. Meanwhile, Tanakichi is approached by Hyuka. At the school, Gathered Fabric make ransom demands. As the students put on fresh pairs of panties, Otome becomes excited at the sight. Later, Ayame and Tanakichi assess the dire situation at hand. As Tanakichi is awkwardly approached again by Hyuka, she explains how people like Anna are brainwashed to believe that anything they do is righteous. Tanakichi then devises a risky plan. While Kasuri devises tactics for Gathered Fabric, White Peak reveals that he has no intention of starting a revolution. Feeling betrayed, Kasuri attempts to immobilize him. Later, Otome calls Tanakichi. Afterwards, White Peak is confronted by Ayame, Tanakichi, Anna, Goriki, and Oboro. Tanakichi reveals that his plan was to get Anna to join forces with SOX. As Otome helps the students escape, Ayame and Anna finish off White Peak for good. After Ayame's dirty joke speech to the public, Kasuri returns to SOX, now acknowledging Ayame as her master once more. SOX receives an invitation to meet up at a hot springs resort in Nukumi. Tanakichi remembers an artifact passed down to him by his father. When they arrive at the resort, they are met by Goriki and Anna. Later, they find Sophia's unconscious body where they are confronted by an Uro terrorist called Base Black. He reveals himself to be the one who gathered everyone to the resort. He then challenges them to a duel for the artifact through Yakyukan. Goriki's loss and subsequent undressing stuns Base Black long enough for Tanakichi to retrieve the artifact. As Tanakichi and Ayame are riding the tram, Anna appears while climbing the cables to catch up to Tanakichi and causes the floor of the tram to collapse. The duo reach an old mansion and explore it, finding a mechanism that the artifact fits through. Kasuri and Otome catch up to them and help open the vault, which contains a treasure of erotic sculptures and statues. They pledge that one day the treasure will be able to see the world again when the anti-profanity enforcement comes to an end.